Hello, in this video I'm going to talk to you about how I pigeon proofed my solar panels, how much it cost and whether it worked. Coming up next. So I've had a few solar installations over the years on various properties, and I have to admit, whenever the installer asked, do you want bird protection? I always said no, because I hadn't had any issues with birds before. I have to say, if you are watching this video and you're about to get solar panels installed, I would say it is worth getting, even if you do it yourself when the scaffolding is up. Anyway, I made the mistake of saying no in my current house, and as you can see here, we have got a problem. I noticed it last year, but it's got worse and worse, and this year it is really bad. And if you look underneath, see through that gap, there are actually pigeons underneath the solar panels. Not only do we have lots of birds actually on the roof, but they are nesting underneath the solar panels, and that means I'm getting a lot of detritus coming down. So this is what we find on our patio every day. So I can sweep this up and it will be there the next day. So you've got twigs, broken eggshells everywhere. We even had a situation where an egg broke on our conservatory roof and in the hot weather started to cook. Not ideal. So as you know, I'm not afraid of a bit of DIY. So my first thought was, can I do this myself? Now, I would say if you are not afraid of being on a roof, then it's certainly something to consider. Now, in retrospect, what I should have done is when the panels were installed, they leave the scaffolding up normally for a day or so afterwards at least. I would have been comfortable going up on that scaffolding and fitting the bird protection myself, but unfortunately I didn't think I needed it, and there's no scaffolding there now. Now, I personally am not comfortable going up on that roof without scaffolding. So I then started to look at suppliers, and I actually got 3 quotes, and they varied massively in price. So the firm that I chose charged £660 including VAT for my roof, which I thought was a very reasonable price, particularly considering the other quotes that I've been given. And there is a reason for that, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But we booked it in a date, and as I'm sure you appreciate, this sort of work is very weather dependent, and in fact the date did slip, but only by I think about a week. When the guys turned up, they'd clearly done a million of these things, and in fact I found out this particular company, who I won't name for reasons I'll tell you about in a minute, have a lot of teams all going out at the same time. And in fact my uncle had his roof done the same week I did, which is completely coincidental. We hadn't spoken to each other before about it at all, but anyway, he did, so he had another experience which is very, very similar to mine. So they turn up, the first thing they do is get up on the roof and they remove everything that's underneath the solar panels, which in this case was a dead bird and a couple of nests. They then spray underneath the panels with some biocide, because apparently there are some insects that are attracted to the pigeons, which you need to get rid of. So that was really reassuring. It's certainly something I wouldn't have thought of doing if I'd done it myself. They use what looks like just a plastic kind of waste pipe, actually, just to sort of push the stuff out, but it worked. Don't knock it, it worked, and I guess it's light as well. The reason that I'm not mentioning the firm, and the reason why I think they were a better price, is because they did not use scaffolding. I have to say, I thought these guys were very experienced, and they seemed comfortable on the roof, and frankly I wasn't going to argue, because it certainly meant the job was a bit more cost effective for me. Once they'd actually removed the stuff that was under the panels and sprayed the biocide underneath, they then measured the panels up for the actual surround. Now, what's interesting is that the way they did it was they actually measured not just the width, but also the height, because I believe different panels are different heights from the roof. They actually just had what looked like basically fence, and they cut it to size, which initially I thought, oh, that's a sort of cheap and cheerful option, but actually in retrospect I think it's probably a better option, because it's a bespoke size, which means that you really aren't going to have any issues. It's also very, very tough stuff. I think a lot tougher than the stuff that I was going to put around myself. They gave the panels a quick blast with a hose. But yeah, they were in and out probably within a couple of hours, and I was extremely happy with the result. It looked very, very neat and it looked substantial. So the next question is, did it work? Did it stop the pigeons? Well, we're 2 months after the installation and I have to say I still have pigeons on my roof. Probably not as many, and what I don't have is anything underneath my panels. So I don't have a problem with nests and eggs rolling off the roof. I also would say the amount of twigs that I have to clear up on the patio is much, much reduced. And importantly also, I know that the wiring and everything underneath the panels is now protected. So I absolutely think it was the right thing to do. I'm very, very happy with the job that these guys did. And I would say, if you're thinking about getting this sort of thing done, it's a very, very good option, particularly if you're not comfortable going up on the roof yourself. I think that the real lesson here is when you get solar panels installed, it is worth paying a bit extra to get the bird protection done at the same time. If you look at what I have just paid, £660, I suspect if you paid for this when the panels were installed, because the scaffolding and the installers are already there, it's going to be similar or less. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give me a thumbs up. It does make a difference. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and hit that notification bell and it'll tell you when I upload. I really appreciate you watching. There's some links in the description for discounts on things like Teslas and Wren kitchens if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.